Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
Find your verdict on the evidence, not emotions. The judge begins summing up in the case of Lucy Letby, the nurse accused of murder and the attempted murder of premature babies.
Officially launched here in the northwest back in 1948, as the NHS celebrates its 75th birthday, we meet the hard-working staff ensuring it's still going strong.
With councils short of cash and the government accused of cutting back on social care, how one charity in the northwest is proving itself to be a lifesaver.
4 times a champion, how Liverpool's Natasha Jonas cemented her place as one of the most decorated women in boxing.
We're live in Lancashire with 5 talented athletes about to take part in a major competition in Romania. Keep going, you're making me dizzy.
And it was the UK's hottest June on record. More details on this coming up in the forecast with a look at the next few days in July.
So do stay with us. But first tonight, the jury in the trial of nurse Lucy Letby has been told to put their emotions to one side in deciding whether or not she's guilty of killing and trying to kill premature babies.
Yeah, the neonatal nurse is accused of 7 murders and 10 attempted murders of babies at the Countess of Chester Hospital between June 2015 and June 2016.
The judge today began his summing up of the case. Our reporter Emma Sweeney's been at court. Emma, the judge telling the jury to reach a verdict on the evidence alone.
That's right, Gamal. The jury in this trial has sat through 9 months of harrowing evidence relating to 17 babies. And today, on his first day of summing up, Mr. Justice James Goss told the jury of 8 women and 4 men that they should consider the evidence that's been put before them and not be led by emotion. Now, he told the jury that in 2015 and 2016 there was a significant rise in the number of babies who suffered sudden and unexpected collapses in the neonatal unit at the Countess of Chester. He said it was the prosecution's case that they were not natural events but were caused by the defendant, Lucy Letby, using various means to harm babies, intending that they should die. But he said it was the defendant's case that she was a dedicated, caring and conscientious nurse who never did anything to harm any child. Now, Mr. Justice Goss provided the jury with a list of legal directions. He said they should use it as guidance when trying to reach verdicts. He talked about Lucy Letby's character and he reminded them that she had no previous convictions and that she had not been in trouble with the police before. He said it was up to them what weight, if any, they attached to the defendant's previous character. He also talked about Lucy Letby's defence statement and said if the jury felt there was a material difference in what Miss Letby had said in that statement and the evidence that had gone before the court, they were entitled to ask themselves why. Now, Justice Goss talked about the medical witnesses in this trial and he told the jury they were entitled to consider the respective opinions of each expert, but again, it was up to them to decide whether they accept some or all of the evidence of any expert witness. Then Mr. Justice Goss went on or began the process of going through each individual child in this case. There are 17 babies in total, 7 of those girls and 10 boys. Miss Letby denies all the charges against her and summing up will continue here at Manchester Crown Court tomorrow.
OK, Emma, thank you.
In other news, the jury's heard the man accused of shooting Ellie Edwards outside of a pub in Wallasey on Christmas Eve took all his clothes to a woman's house after finding out he was a wanted man. Connor Chapman told the court he'd put them all in a rucksack, not to destroy evidence, he said, but so police wouldn't seize them. Ellie died after being shot in the head when a submachine gun was fired at people outside of the Lighthouse pub. Chapman, who's 23, denies murder and 7 other charges.
A North West MP has called for the House of Commons to hold a formal debate on the Isle of Man's Summerland disaster. It's nearly 50 years since 50 people died in a fire inside the leisure complex. A year after the tragedy, a public inquiry found a number of errors that led to the fire, but nobody has ever been held to account.
It was a terrible tragedy. 50 people lost their lives, including family members of my constituents and a number of other members' constituents as well. I was astonished to learn that despite this terrible tragedy happening, this House has never debated this subject.
I think there will be further opportunities for him to raise this matter, but I shall also make sure that the relevant department has also heard what he has said today.
And the First Minister of the Isle of Man is going to make a new statement in Tynwald, the Manx Parliament, regarding the 50th anniversary of Summerland next month.
A major road scheme linking parts of Lancashire to the M55 motorway has opened to traffic. Edith Rigby Way connects Blackpool Road and Rivers Way in Preston to the motorway, which leads to Blackpool and the Fylde coast. It's named after a famous Preston suffragette.
Now, we all know family life can be stressful, but families with disabled children can face an overwhelming combination of financial, emotional and practical pressures.
Yes, without regular support and respite breaks, many carers find themselves in crisis. But with councils short of cash and the government accused of cutting back on its social care commitments, it's being left to charities to plug the care gap.
This special report by Anna Yosef shows how one such charity in Greater Manchester can quite literally be a lifesaver.
Neil's nearly 13. His learning disabilities mean he'll never be able to live independently. He needs help eating and going to the toilet and communicates using gestures. Neil's mother Rithu describes him as a beautiful soul and the bond between them is obvious. But life as a carer can be relentless.
From the moment he wakes up till he goes to sleep, he needs maximum assistance with everything. He cannot function without help.
Rithu admits the family were in crisis when they were put in contact with Stockdale's, a charity that supports children and adults with learning disabilities and complex health needs.
What do you think would have happened if you hadn't had the help from Stockdale's?
I would have given him away because I wasn't able to cope. Or I would have committed suicide. Yeah, because it was too much. I can't bear the stress that it placed on my mental health, because there was no break. There was no break, Hannah.
That's how crucial it is.
Yes. Neil means everything to me. I want to spend every second with him, but at that time it was, I can't look after myself. Please help me, otherwise I can't look after my son if I can't look after myself. And I'm really glad that I have that support now.
Carers now visit Neil at home to help with his evening routine, and he enjoys going to the charity's children's club on a Saturday.
It meant that, yes, my child has somewhere else to go, where he's welcome, where people are not going to struggle understanding him. Well, they'll make an effort to understand him. And it made me happy as a mum that my child is safe. And as a family, we just felt, oh, I got some break.
Can you smell the cooking in the kitchen, Gav? I think there's a cake ready in there.
Gavin's 47 and has needed round-the-clock care since birth. He's lived in one of Stockdale's residential homes for the past 35 years. His father John visits regularly and says it was the best decision for everyone.
Well, within that 6-week period of when Gavin joined, we got our son back. And I could be Gavin's dad and not his carer. His mum could be his mum and not a carer.
John says knowing Gavin's happy and safe and has a home for life has given him peace of mind.
I often described it as I've been planning for my own death since I was 26. That sounds a little macabre, but it's actually all part of the thinking that parents like ours have, which is what happens when we're no longer here. And it's a constant worry and thought. And it's one I don't have, and I'm very, very lucky that Stockdale's provides us with that luxury, that we don't have to worry about Gavin. Gavin is as happy day to day as he can be, and he's happy to see me, but he's happy when I go.
Right, last big mix, Jackie, it's up to you. Ready?
Gavin lives with 5 other residents who are looked after by a team of carers.
The idea is to help all our residents to live their life in full, for them to have new experiences. Like all of the residents who have moved to this place, we see a difference in their, in their health, just because they are having new experiences. For example, just being able to help someone to enjoy an activity like swimming that they've been missing, for so long, and just supporting them, to have access to that activity, makes a difference.
Stockdale's was set up 70 years ago in Sale, Greater Manchester, by a group of parents whose children had learning disabilities. Over the years, it's supported thousands of families, but it relies heavily on fundraising and donations. And while recruitment is an ongoing problem, there's a huge demand for their services.
The pressure's intense to keep going as a charity. You've got to take care seriously. You've got to realise the need that's out there and prioritise those services for people who are really struggling. It's a real challenge, the fundraising side of things, because it runs through everything we do. We've got to make sure we have the resources to ensure we can offer the best possible care for people and families.
Yay! But with councils short of cash and the government accused of cutting back on its social care commitments, charities like this will have to carry on plugging the gaps, somehow. Anna Yosef, ITV News.
Well, we asked the Department for Health and Social Care for a comment on that story by Anna. They told us they recognise the pressures faced by adult social care sector.
Yeah, they added the government is making up to £7.5 billion available to support adult social care and discharge over the next 2 years, the biggest funding increase in history. This will help local authorities address waiting lists, low fee rates and workforce pressures. They should spend this funding to support their communities and improve social care services, including those for people with learning disabilities and autism. OK, here's what's still to come on the ITV News at 6:30 with Charlie.
It's official. We've just had the hottest June in history. Scientists point to climate change, saying it's increasingly likely we could surpass the record in the coming years. Also, profiteering on petrol. The supermarkets cashing in by inflating prices. Calls to ban puppy yoga. An ITV investigation reveals the harm caused by the latest fitness fad. And welcome back to Wimbledon. The long wait ahead as thousands join the queue. So join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Next, this week, we're all being invited to join in the celebrations for the 75th birthday of the NHS, officially launched in our region at Park Hospital, now Trafford Hospital, back in 1948.
And the first hospital was just one of the many firsts in the NHS in the North West, where we pioneered new treatments like hip replacements and new cancer therapies.
Well, back in the early 90s, a team of nurses from Bolton was the first in the land to take hospital-style treatment into people's homes.
And they're still going strong today, as Jennifer Buck now reports.
Hi Diane, what we're going to do today, we're going to do your dressing. We're going to take your bloods before I give you your antibiotics.
Diane is 88 and needs at least 4 weeks of antibiotics to treat an abscess on her appendix. In most areas of the country, that would mean daily visits to hospital or a stay on a ward. But in Bolton, home visits are always encouraged.
I like being at home. It's convenient. They're professional people. They make you feel safe.
Bolton's intravenous nursing at home team make around 500 home visits a month, but must carefully consider who is eligible.
We have to make sure they're clinically well enough to be seen in their own home, because you have to remember they're still quite sick when we get to them. And so we'll be administering the antibiotics until the consultant says it's the end of treatment, so it could be anything 4 to 6 weeks.
It's a trailblazing scheme that started 27 years ago. They were the first team to deliver intravenous antibiotics, blood transfusions and chemotherapy in the comfort of the patient's home. It frees up hospital beds as well as minimising the chance of infection and giving a more personal service.
We form that relationship as well with the patient, what you wouldn't necessarily do in the hospital, because you can we're in your own home and it is a different environment altogether.
I enjoy being in my own home. I enjoy the fact that my husband and I, we're a team, and the team's back together again. And that I'm very fortunate. But I also enjoy meeting the people who are caring for me, and we always find something common to talk about.
The team have now been shortlisted for the Nursing in the Community Award after developing the innovative way to care for patients at home.
We have been trailblazers in many of areas, doing the work that we do with the home transfusions, the chemotherapy, bringing antibiotics out into the service.
It's a proud moment for the team and a celebration of the work they've developed. Jennifer Buck, ITV News in Bolton.
Yeah, we'll have more on 75 years of the NHS on tomorrow's programme. Time for sport now, and we raise a glass to Tash. Hello, Mike.
Hello there, yeah, we do, don't we? We're running out of superlatives to describe what she's achieving in the sport of boxing. On Friday, Liverpool's Natasha Jonas boasted just the 3 world title belts. Today, well, she's struggling to carry them all. Over the weekend, she made history by becoming the first Liverpool fighter to win world titles in 2 different weight divisions. So, where does she go from here? She's been speaking to David Chisnell.
It's 4 times a world champion for Natasha Jonas, who's been back to the appropriately named Champs Camp boxing gym in Manchester today with her collection of belts.
Yeah, just as many as I can get. It's a great feeling. It looked like for such a long time before that it may never happen, and now to have 4 and a ring belt, so yeah, it's good.
We always seem to be talking about history when we're talking with you, and of course you've done it again, Liverpool's first 2-weight world champion. How on earth does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some great boxers come from our city, Smith, Bellew, John Conti and that before that, to be top of the pile makes it all that more special.
Well, with Natasha's place in history cemented, it's now sentiment that her trainer hopes will dictate future fights.
I'd love her to see fight Katie Taylor again. I think the 2 of them have been rivals for years, going back to the Olympics in 2012. They had that great fight for Katie's world title at the arena, behind closed doors. I think that's a fight and a rivalry that I'd like to see them have the last dance together and them both go off into the sunset.
Where do we go from here now then? You've got that first win this year under the belt. Where do we go now?
We go on holiday. We're going on a group holiday with my friends and their little kids, and then just a safari with me and the baby to Tanzania. The poor baby's missed out on 2 half terms and an Easter holiday, and she's been in here with me instead. So yeah, I think I deserve. That's something she deserves more than I do.
Both Natasha and her 7-year-old daughter Mila have earned a break. These have been busy times for the 2-weight world champion, who's also been showcasing her talents in 2 sports.
You were boxing on Saturday night, and then on Sunday you were playing football. What was that all about?
It was all about the weapons down, gloves up. And again, it's something that's really close to my heart, about all the violence with knife crime in Liverpool. We do like to stick together as a community and stand up for what we believe in and what's right, and I think it was a great display of that, and what better way to do it than in sport, which is such a big part of Liverpool's heritage.
She's an inspiration and role model to so many. David Chisnell, ITV News, Manchester.
The brilliant Natasha Jonas. Well, next to some football news, and Liverpool's new £60 million signing, Dominik Szoboszlai, will wear the number 8 jersey, which once belonged to his hero. He's picked the number worn with such distinction by Steven Gerrard for all those years, and the Hungary midfielder says he even has a tattoo inspired by the former Red skipper. Szoboszlai moves to Anfield from German side Leipzig, which is also the home of Croatia defender Joško Vardiol, and it's understood the 21-year-old is now a target of Manchester City. And speaking of Steven Gerrard, he has this evening been confirmed as the new manager of Saudi Arabian side Al Ettifaq. Well, next to the Tour de France, where Berry's Adam Yates is still wearing the yellow jersey. He remains the overall race leader after 3 stages. He won stage 1 on Saturday. Today was all about the sprinters, though. Sadly, Mark Cavendish missed out on the chance to break the all-time record for stage victories. The Isle of Man legend finished 6th. Belgium's Jasper Philipsen won stage 3, but there'll be more opportunities to come for the Manx missile. Finally to cricket, and Lancashire Lightning will face Surrey in the quarter-finals of the Vitality Blast. Lancs extended their unbeaten home run to 21 matches as they saw off Northamptonshire Steelbacks with 20 balls to spare. Phil Salt hitting a 6 to win it. They'll take on Surrey in the last 8 at Old Trafford this coming Friday. Lancs were narrowly beaten in last year's final, so hoping to go one better this year. But that's your sport, guys.
Here's hoping. Thanks, Mike. Well, actually, we're staying with a sporting theme and heading into the demanding, skillful and graceful world of rhythmic gymnastics. We're meeting 5 athletes from our region heading overseas in search of success.
They certainly are. All 5 are from the Fylde Coast Rhythmic Gymnastics Academy at Wharton near Blackpool, and they'll be representing GB at the upcoming World Championships.
The team's aged just between 13 and 15, and they're heading out to Romania tomorrow. Here's a little bit of the girls in action, and prepare to be dazzled.
That looks so hard. I've got 2 left feet, so I'd be useless at that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I wish I could do it. What about Crony, eh?
Yeah, amazing stuff. Well, let's bring in Crony now. Crony, I'm guessing this is a slightly above your skill set.
Slightly, try way above. I'm getting dizzy just watching these lot go around. But these are amazing, wonderful athletes that will be going to the World Championships. 5 of them from 2 Northwest clubs across the region taking part in the World Championships in Romania. Right, let's get in the line, girls, and we'll do a bit of introductions. We've got Lottie, we've got Lucy, we've got Alex, we've got Evie, and we've got Tallulah, and they are representing Great Britain. It is wonderful to be able to say that. Lottie, tell us how much you practice during a week, how many hours, and how difficult it is.
Well, we train around 5 to 6 days a week, which each one we train around 4 to 6 hours. We do miss school sometimes to train twice a day.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you do it. It is amazingly intricate. I don't know how they do it. Lucy, are you nervous about the competition?
We are definitely feeling nervous, but we're more excited to showcase our hard work and routines.
You are gonna go down a storm. I know. Now, the lady behind there is the coach, Anna Blackburn. Anna, I know. Just explain how difficult these routines are.
Oh, the routines are difficult, but the hard work, skills that the girls have been working for, we're just going to hope that we go out there and showcase our hard work, definitely.
And how many countries are taking part?
There are 36 countries in the group qualification, so yes, we're hoping for the best. The girls have been working really, really hard. I've had a lot of help from our national coach, Laura Hogg, which will be working together to develop these girls.
And the interesting thing is you're from Romania, you're going out to Romania as a coach for Great Britain. You must be so proud.
I am the proudest coach ever. I cannot even tell you. Going out there representing Great Britain in my home country, it's a dream come true.
Well, you've got me filling up that. And very quickly, even though it's an Olympic sport, we don't get funded in this country.
No, we don't, unfortunately. The girls have to, for themselves, for equipment and everything that goes into
like even some of the costumes just cost £250 a throw, and then there's airfares and everything else. Sometimes more.
But their parents did a great job supporting them. Without them, they couldn't have done what they've done.
Wonderful. Well, listen, the best of luck. There we go. The girls, they're going to be representing Great Britain. Such a proud... Oh, I see. I'm not part of this routine. They're taking part Friday and Saturday. They compete. We wish them the best of luck. Oh, hang on. Oh, hello. Oh.
Well done, girls. Well done, Crony there.
Here's Joe.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, a very good evening to you. A showery couple of days to come and a fresh feel with temperatures at best around average here in the northwest. July certainly starting on a changeable note, but from Thursday it's looking a little drier and warmer to end the week. Looking back at June, across the country we now know it was the hottest ever recorded, with above average sunshine amounts, and of course we know it was very dry as well. July has started on a far more unsettled note weather-wise, and the next couple of days look very similar, with low pressure close to our shores, showers around, but by Thursday, drier weather to come. More cloud building in the run-up to the weekend, but temperatures get a bit of a boost, and it won't feel quite as fresh, certainly from Thursday onwards. Back to this evening's details, and here in the northwest, 1 or 2 showers feeding through. Still quite stiff breeze for Irish Sea coast tonight. Lots of drier weather around though as we go through the night, some clear spells. And the showers are moving through quite promptly on that breeze. It's not cold, 10 or 11 Celsius our overnight low. Those are the sun times. It's up at 4:47. It sets tomorrow evening at 9:43. Tomorrow morning, here in the northwest, there'll be a little batch of showers working their way across Cumbria, Lancashire, Greater Manchester through the morning, moving off into the Pennines. Either side of those, lots of dry weather. However, during the afternoon, showers will crop up nearly anyway. They could be heavy, thundery, but they're moving through quickly on that breeze. And the showers will be interspersed with some decent spells of sunshine. Still quite fresh though, 18, maybe 19 Celsius at best. Winds will ease off as we get towards tomorrow evening. And then looking ahead through the rest of the week, a few showers to come on Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday will be drier and a little warmer. Here's the pollen.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
Some better news ahead. Grass pollen levels will be dipping as the season draws to a close through next week. However, with some slightly warmer weather ahead by the end of this week, it will be shooting up to very high. A final hurrah.
Just watching the GB team practicing for the rhythmic gymnastics, I just couldn't do it. It's the balls, your feet, your hands. I wouldn't know what to do myself.
I mean, the clue's in it, isn't it? Rhythm. I just don't have it.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.